Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Patrick Wiley, president of 321 Media, continuing with another interesting conversation. My friend Rob Sullivan. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing great, Pat. How have you been?
I'm doing well. So I wanted to say Rob Sullivan, the owner of RI Outdoor Living, which you still are, but you're also the highest ranking official in the USDA in both Rhode Island and Connecticut now. Is that right?
Yeah, Connecticut's new for me as a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I was appointed by President Trump on June 2nd.
It's very exciting stuff. I remember we were at a friend's party a couple of months ago and you were talking about potentially getting the position, and now you have it. So congratulations.
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate it.
No, it's exciting. So we met, I want to say a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago, like everybody else I talked to for some reason on this little segment here, through BNI. You were in there for your landscaping company. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you got started with RI Outdoor Living and a little bit about your passion for networking and people.
Sure. I started landscaping pretty much right out of high school. Quickly got invited to a BNI group. I want to say my first one was in like 2011 or 2010, and got really into networking, realized the value in giving to get and building relationships. And, with a small landscape company, everyone knows someone that needs a service. So we quickly grew from about 15 accounts to 100 within 3 months. Wow. So BNI was a huge catalyst to what I do now. That turned into a bit of public service. You start, getting passionate about helping small businesses. I started with the Southern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, got on their board of directors, where I started the Southern Rhode Island Young Professionals, which was another extension to try to bring people to BNI and BNI to the young professionals. So they both, worked well with one another to accomplish those goals. And then soon through helping small businesses and listening to the struggles, that started a bit of a political career, where soon I was working as the lobbyist for the Southern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce and going to the State House, going to town hall chambers and advocating for small businesses. Yeah, you've had your hands full. Like I'm always like, man, like Rob's such a connector. Like you just bring people in. Like I'm on a text chain with you with I don't know how many other business owners in the area, and it's all just about helping other people out, connecting with people. And, through your love of like landscaping and agriculture, you now have had this incredible opportunity to go work for the Trump administration at the USDA. Tell us a little bit more about, one, what exactly is it that you're doing there? Sure. And what has the transition been like to being a full-time business owner embedded in the community, and now you've taken on this massive role with the administration? Well, normally when I'd sign up for a group, I'd get to be 100% into both of them. But now I have had to take a bit of a step back from my landscaping business. And I had two great guys that work for me, Jay and Ryan, and they've been able to carry the torch. We've definitely gotten more specific on what we do there, because we can't be kind of doing a bit of everything. We got to be great at just a couple of things. So, keeping the business running. But now I'm the state executive director for Rhode Island and Connecticut, and I basically run the Farm Service Agency. In Rhode Island, it's one county office and one state office, and in Connecticut, it's 5 county offices and 1 state office. Oh, wow. And so you said Connecticut was newer for you. This is something that's been announced in the past couple of weeks? Or? Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I started as the acting state executive director, but they haven't given me a deadline of when that is. So it's for the until whenever they say that's it. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but it's been very exciting to be in Connecticut. As close as they are, their agricultural background is significantly different. They have like in Rhode Island, they estimated around with the census about 1,100 farms. Where in Connecticut, they're at 5,600 farms. Oh wow.
Okay.
Quite a difference.
So what kind of farms do we even have in Rhode Island? And is it similar to what is in Connecticut?
Actually quite different, although there's a lot of overlap. So like we're both big into aquaculture, which in Rhode Island it's booming, and there are differences between Rhode Island aquaculture and Connecticut aquaculture. Connecticut, they're growing oysters just like we are. They have some kelp farms too, but they do a lot of bottom seeding. So like they kind of just like put the seed in the bottom and then dredge it up, where ours are mostly in cages or floating bags. Rhode Island's known for our sod. So obviously we have big sod farms that do, even I know like we did business with my landscape company. I'll give them a shout out with Kingston Turf and Laurelbrook Turf. And I know that they've historically like sold to the New England Patriots and the New York Yankees and professional all the way up to like residential, installations of the sod. Rhode Island used to be big dairy, but now we're down to only about a handful of farms, where Connecticut's still like over 100 strong. So I've gotten to know the dairy industry again. We're coming into Rhode Island. There isn't a whole lot of it. So there's certain programs that we take care of that protect dairy farmers. So like having to get, get in front of those has been a bit of a change for Connecticut, but it's very exciting to see the differences. Where like Connecticut also has like tobacco. They have, they do a lot more soybeans than us. Yeah. Connecticut's one of the, more better tobacco farms, especially in the region where our state office is in Tolland County and Hartford County. We've gotten to drive around and see quite a bit of the larger tobacco farms.
Nice. Yeah, that's and I don't know why I didn't think of turf farms as, like farming in Rhode Island. I grew up right next to Charahoe High School, across from, what is it, Tuckahoe Turf over there. But I just never would have thought like, oh yeah, this is something that falls under the USDA, but I guess it's obvious once you start talking about it.
It does. It's it's one of those crops that doesn't get a lot of loss, like your vegetables and other things like that. But they definitely take part in our programs, and they're eligible for our farm loans as well. Yeah.
Well, speaking of farming, I guess how has farming changed over the years in this area? Like I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You'd probably know better than me, but back in the day, those turf farms in Richmond used to be potato farms.
Yeah, potatoes, veggies, different things like that. So it has transitioned. Sod's a good moneymaker. Sod pays good per the square foot. So sod has definitely taken off in the last, I don't know how many decades, but it's definitely made a shift toward it. Because obviously we were kids, there were still a lot of turf farms there in West Kingston, and, the Charahoe area. Farming has definitely changed a lot. We used to be known for our dairy. Not a lot of dairy here anymore. And some of that comes with the cost of both the commodities and the farmland. Like Rhode Island and Connecticut have the most expensive farmland in the country. So starting and getting into farming as well as maintaining farming is really tough. So a lot of farmers,
is that because of the lack of space and land?
Yep, land and the straight cost of it. We have a lot of protected space that was taken out of agriculture, as well as just trying to buy agriculture. Land is extremely expensive. Rhode Island, we're so condensed that there's not a lot of space to even do it compared to what a farmer can do if he wants to sell out to build, to sell it to a developer. You get significantly more money, and then plus the interest in farming's gone down a bit, both in cost and the labor associated with today's workforce.
Interesting. I'm thinking of a question, and I don't. If you can't answer the question, fine. I understand. Solar farms. Is this something that falls under the USDA, or is this something completely different? And is that part of the reason why farmland is so expensive in this area? Because there's just been such a crazy amount of solar farms that are popping up everywhere.
It definitely competes, but solar is used by a lot of our farmers to subsidize losses.
Okay.
So especially in like some land that isn't really susceptible to growing good vegetables, or even I say vegetables, any sort of crop, whether it's specialty, commodity, or value loss kind of crop. So they'll put it in areas that weren't that good. And a lot of times they're just clearing forest land, which is a whole other issue. But a lot of times they're using wind turbines and solar panels to kind of subsidize the losses from the problems that exist in agriculture, which are going to be, competing with national markets for selling our products, as well as just even the cost of doing business. Rhode Island, Connecticut, I know Rhode Island is one of the last ranked small business states in the country, and that has to do with our infrastructure, our business taxes and regulations, but also just the cost of energy and other costs of living, and that also trickles down to a farmer too. They still pay expensive gas prices, they pay expensive electric prices, and they still got to buy brand new trucks that are super expensive, as well as equipment. So it's just kind of just overall the economy in general kind of hurts farmers, and especially new beginning ones, to try to, I mean, you see what houses and land is going for. Imagine trying to buy, 20 acres right now. it'll hurt you in the beginning.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I guess that was one of the misconceptions I had, I guess, related to the solar, was they're just coming in and clearing land for no apparent reason, but there's a very distinct reason. What other misconceptions might there be about the Farm Service Agency within the USDA that folks might not know about? I think some folks might not even know what it is that you guys do and support.
Sure. I mean, we have dozens of agencies at USDA. So when people see Farm Service Agency, they think farming everything. So we get calls in our office for stuff that has nothing to do with our agency. But the misconception is what the Farm Service Agency does. Like, we're non-regulatory and non-compliance. We have two sides. We have a farm loan side, which we're a lender of last resort. So if you go to a bank and they turn you down for financing, you can come to Farm Service Agency, which qualifies you for our loan programs. We do farm ownership loans. We do farm operating loans, we do youth loans, we do farm storage loans. We have all kinds of programs to help people both grow in their operations and start. So the other side is the disaster assistance. So whether it's by flood, drought, a hurricane, or a storm in specific, we have, I could talk all day about how many different programs and all the crazy government acronyms for them all, but there are just dozens and even I'd even go to say hundreds of programs that come out. Ad hoc ones are ones that currently exist that are annually that provide assistance when something does happen to your crops. So I know our oyster farmers take advantage of a program called ELAP, which is a free program to participate in. It covers livestock losses, honeybee losses, and oyster losses. So they participate in that. And then we have crop insurance programs and which pretty much, it doesn't make you whole, but it definitely can keep the farm going after a disaster that we use the taxpayer funds to prop up our ag.
That's great. Sounds like there's a lot of support out there for folks in that community. They might not know about that, so hopefully they're listening to this and they can reach out to is there a local office that they can call, or is there a better way for them to reach out?
No, they can definitely reach out to our local office. And especially if you want to begin a farm, we're usually your first stop. I mean, you can come and register with us. We don't do direct farm planning, but we have plenty of partners that we work with in both the USDA and in Rhode Island and Connecticut that can help you get on your feet, come up with a business plan. Because when you work with our loan programs, although they can get you started, they operate more as a business loan than just showing up to a dealership and they just send you out with $50,000 in debt. So you can, work with partners, get a business plan, come back to us for the loan, and they can get you started. We can do up to $600,000 on farm ownership, $400,000 on operating. And a lot of people don't know that we even provide that. So a lot of times you get turned down at a bank. So you think, okay, my dream's over, when really your dream just began if you're trying to work with the Farm Service Agency.
Right. I guess in addition to that, is there anything else that you would recommend to somebody who's interested in getting started with farming?
Well, I know that if you're into going to school, URI and UConn both have great extension programs that'll get you in, but there's a lot of other great organizations from NOFA to the Farm Bureau to all kinds of places in Rhode Island that'll help you and sympathize with you wanting to become a farmer, because new and beginning farmers are few and far between these days. And it's something that if we're not, secure in our food supply in America, we're going to be in big trouble the next time we have a pandemic or a worse situation.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And, I think back to, I'm a Charahoe graduate. When I was in school, there was a 4-H club. And, obviously our main audience is, we broadcast high school sports. So what would you say to the young kids out there who might be passionate about something like that? They're in high school, they're maybe not ready to start looking at college. What can they do to get involved?
Sure. So I think 4-H and FFA are both two great programs. Probably my favorite part of the even Washington County Fair is watching the kids walk out. They're dressed up for it and all about that lifestyle. I'll have to give a plug back to our loan program, though. We do youth loans up to $10,000 from anyone from 10 years old to 20 years old. So and out west they do it a bit different here, but here you could potentially, if you were into nursery stock or growing flowers, you can use that to build yourself a greenhouse. Or you could, if you're into more of the livestock, you can end up buying a pair of bred heifers, which by the time you're 18 or 20 years old, you could have a herd in the dozens and then sell them for college, get them processed for college tuition money. To have that resource. And it's not just us. Obviously, banks will help you out, but you get your parents' permission. But through 4-H and even the cooperative extension at URI, we're trying to reach that audience to let them know that like there is help available, because you not only just need to try it out when you're younger, but you need support. Not everybody has the money to just get their kid going. So again, I just had to plug our loans.
No, that's incredible. I had no idea about the majority of what this organization does. So this is phenomenal. You've just sort of started within the past couple of months here, right? What have your favorite moments been on the job so far?
A lot of it's the meeting people, obviously, the human connection between meeting somebody, because on both ends, I get to meet with people who are just starting a farm. So they're very excited and they're just like looking into the future. And then on the other end, on the disaster assistance, is somebody that just got almost everything taken from them in some cases, especially in Connecticut, like 2023, they had flooding in all 8 counties. The damage and devastation out there was unspeakable, and some of these people almost lost everything. So to see it on both sides and to provide assistance in both the growth and trying to get people back to where they were has been I wouldn't say my favorite part, but it's certainly one of the biggest eye openers I've had since doing this job, and the importance of what our agency does.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a very rewarding position. It sounds like you're all over the place all the time, though. You're traveling quite a bit, I would imagine.
Yeah, I spend a couple days in Rhode Island, a couple days in Connecticut, depending on where they are, where my meetings take me during the day. But we do lots of farm visits, both to just meet with producers and let them know that we're there to help, but also to kind of look at problems. They educate us constantly. Every time I go to a new farm, I learn something else and just absorb the information. And it's been it's new, but it's also not new, because everything kind of relates back to the small business end of my background, as well as being in landscaping. You're very connected to agriculture.
Right.
It's like 70% of Rhode Island farms are landscaping nurseries.
Right.
So having those connections and that background certainly rolls into how I'm able to do my job.
Nice. So I live right on the Rhode Island Connecticut line, and I go out for a run, and one of my running routes, I go past this amazing cow farm. Wondering if you've ever been there, the Beriah Lewis farm.
I haven't been on there, but as a kid, going down Boom Bridge Road all the time and being back there in the Ashaway region. They're very large. There's also another cow farm next to them, and they certainly have been on my radar. Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's it's incredible. I mean, I'm just so happy for you as a friend, just to see you doing well. And is there anything else you'd like people to know about what your new position is and what you're doing to support the farming community?
Sure. So like another thing that we do, and I do very much enjoy working for the Trump administration. The Trump administration is dead set on helping agriculture and making sure that our programs are running as fast as they ever have compared to our predecessor. One of the other things we do, though, is there's many agencies in USDA. So we work really closely with NRCS, which is the Natural Resource Conservation Service. So like we're all part of farm production, but like we're more on the production side. They're more on the we're both part of farm production and conservation. It's FPAC, the group of agencies that we're in, and they do conservation. We do farm production. So like they can't do their programs without us. We use their technicians for our program. So being able to work on both conservation and production is one of the strong points. And I think that working with like RMA, which does all the crop insurances, and like we all kind of are under one agency, although we all have our caveats, we all work very well together, and to have all of them right in the same building in Warwick is very helpful.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great. Well, I guess before we start wrapping things up here, I always like to talk a little bit about the business side of things, but also a little bit about the personal. And one thing that I've remembered about you is that you are, I guess, a connoisseur of botanical gardens.
Certainly has a soft spot.
Yeah. So how many have you visited across the United States at this point?
If I had to count, I'd say dozens, but we do a lot with the largest one in New England is actually Roger Williams Botanical. And when plants outgrow my house, I donate them up there. So I get to go see some old friends. But I've been to Chicago Botanical, Garfield Park, which is also in Chicago, the National Botanical Gardens, been to Lou Gardens in Central Florida, been to Hunt's Gardens in Barbados. Like pretty much if there's a botanical garden and I'm not in Rhode Island, I'm trying to see it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. I love Roger Williams. I've actually, in my previous career, DJ'd a ton of weddings there, and it was just cool.
Isn't it a great place?
It was awesome, just being surrounded by all the plants and all these exotic things that you wouldn't see otherwise. So really cool, Rob. Appreciate you stopping by. Where can folks learn more information about what you're doing at the FSA? Is there a good spot, website, social media? Where can they find you?
Yep, farmers.gov has all of our programs, get you connected to where you're going. It asks you your area code, and it plugs you in, describes our loan programs in a little bit more detail, as well as the disaster assistance that we do. And we're located in Warwick at 60 Quaker Lane.
Amazing. Well, you heard it there, folks. It's Rob Sullivan with the FSA, the Farm Service Agency, and that's an agency within the USDA. I got that right?
Yes, you did.
Perfect. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.